Last time we talked, I remember we talked about The Office briefly. We didn't really get into The Office because, everybody knows a lot about The Office. It's like, we don't have to talk about it. Everybody loves The Office. You're a loved character. But I remember you saying something pretty profound. You're like, I was a bit of a dick, or I was maybe a little hard at a certain point on that show. And do you think, because I look at the podcast now and Soul Pancake, which, founded Soul Pancake to create a space where people from all walks of life could discuss and question what it means to be human. And do you think that there was something that happened to you maybe while filming on The Office, or the way you were, or the way you felt like you were, that you needed to change? So you started doing things like Metaphysical Milkshake, which we'll talk about, and all these spiritual things, and getting in the Baha'i faith and things like that. Do you think that did it start kind of back then or soon after? It's kind of finding yourself, who you are?
Well, part of it is, I don't want to be like Mr. Hollywood recovery guy, and there's a whole bunch of people talking about that, but I am in recovery. I have experience with the 12 steps and have had, issues with alcohol in the distant past. And so for me, it's part of that process. So it's like powerlessness and unmanageability around stuff, and that goes hand in hand with ego, narcissism, and entitlement of being an addict. And then all of a sudden you add fame and throw fame into that mix, right? Your character defects swell up and flare up and whatnot. And at the same time, I'm trying to, connect with my higher power and, become more spiritual and more grounded in my spiritual life, and trying to be a better person, sometimes succeeding, sometimes not. So it's like this, what I'm describing is like all of us. You don't have to be an addict to be going through this. This is what we do. We have battles with our ego, and we have times when we're trying to make ourselves and the world a better place. So it's part of this struggle. But I will say that those early years of The Office, especially like 2006, 2009, right in there, like I went from this unemployed character actor to all of a sudden being like completely recognizable in this huge TV celebrity, and then was getting leads in a lot of films and getting offered a lot of stuff and money, and we were always broke, my wife and I, and all of it. So that will inflate your ego and your narcissism too. It was a tremendous challenge. So Soul Pancake, the digital media company, which has now kind of been subsumed by Participant Media, which is an even larger media company, was part of it's part of my attempt to kind of understand myself and other people, what it means to be a human being, that we're all on a philosophical journey, we're on a psychological journey, we're on a spiritual journey, we're on an artistic journey.
Yeah.
And Metaphysical Milkshake, the podcast that we're doing, is kind of born out of that and that whole process.